Hi, I'm Travis, and this is Handcrafted Overlanding. Today, I'm going to make a platform that goes over the rear bench seat. The exact measurements of this particular part of the project is 27 inches deep and 60 inches wide. Now, I'm using a 3/4 inch thick sheet of melamine. I would definitely recommend plywood. It would be a lot more stable. As you can see here, I cut off the ends that I didn't like on the piece of leftover scrap that I had. I also take off a little bit off of both ends just to make sure I have nice, crisp, square corners. Now, it's never recommended to run a piece of lumber through your table saw that is wider than it is long, because you could potentially bind the piece between the blade and your rip fence. I had Damien here to help me keep an extra set of hands on this, and you can see that I was keeping myself well out of line in the event that there was kickback. Should be
pretty damn close.
60 on the nose.
Measure from this way over here.
Oh, there's both of them. 60 on the frickin' nose. 60 on the frickin' nose.
Oh.
So, because I was cutting on this side of the blade, what I had to do is I had to account for the kerf, because this fence is set to 5 inches from the fence to the blade. So what I did was, since I
You have to calculate the thickness of the blade, right?
Right, which is an 1/8 inch. Most of them are 1/8 inch. So what I did was, instead of cutting it at 5 inches, because that was the amount that I wanted to take off, I cut it at 4 7/8, so it compensates for that extra 1/8 inch of the blade width, giving us the full 60-inch width.
Nice. We'll be quiet.
Dude, take a look at that.
Did you have to fit right?
Fit right the first time.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good. What kind of space do you have on the other side? Is it the same?
It's probably close to the same. I haven't checked that side.
Well, you did say 60 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can come this way just a little bit. There.
Dude.
That's probably perfect on either side now.
That is perfect.
It's about a finger width up.
Yep. So I'm thinking on the back end, cut a 1 inch block, maybe an 1.25 inch block.
What do you mean? To put on the back side?
Yeah.
In between?
2 inch block right here.
Oh, gotcha, because it curves back down. And down.
Yeah.
I would only say, yeah, maybe 2 inch.
So like a 2 inch block.
Well,
so the 2 inch block will put a little bit more pressure back here. But I'm not just talking right here. I'm talking for the whole length of it.
yeah, but you don't want when your dog sits on it, because this is just laying on top.
Well, I'm putting legs on it too.
Okay, good, because if your dog if there's 2 inches here and it's tight, it gets more tight here. This has potentially to lean forward.
Exactly. So 2 inch block across the back.
Yeah.
I was initially going to go buy piano hinge to fold it up, but I don't think I need that.
No, you're not going to need that.
Yeah.
Just round off. What you want to do is just round off that bottom edge that sits. Just round off the bottom parts that sit flush to that. It'll gouge it less and it'll run.
Oh, I was thinking we were gonna do the iron-on banding on it.
Yeah. Just make it a little bit smoother, so it doesn't gouge into your.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's a good fit. I mean, I could probably take an inch off the length of, or the width of it, the length of it, depth, whatever we want to call it. I could take an inch off, make it a little narrower. I don't know. I think I like that.
No, because you don't want the dog to fall in there, and it gives a little stability.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yep. And then just gonna get iron-on banding across it. You know, while I'm here. "14.5 inch legs. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, because it depends on where you're measuring. Yeah. Measure on top of the bumps on the Husky mats, or you're going to measure on the bottom?
I'm going to measure right there.
14.5, 14 3/4.
Yeah, 14 3/4 is probably a good measurement.
And that'll get a little squishy height too.
Yeah. All right, so legs are 14 3/4 and a 2-inch block across the back. So here I decided to pull out the miter saw. Not because I don't think I couldn't have done it on the table saw. It was just safer to do it from the miter saw. I was only going to do one cut, so it seems like a lot of work for something so quick and just one piece, but safety is important.
Control it and drive it full speed off the cliff, like 1,000 foot cliff, and record the whole thing, like in the passenger seat.
You know what? Okay, so tell you what. I will give it to you if we do it with another 1,500. We'll go buy another 1,500 for cheap, and we'll go do that.
And just drive it off a cliff somewhere. Put like 5 gallons of gas in it. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like we're gonna do it.
I don't know. We have seen quite a few vehicles out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but we're also the ones that like to go out and clean up after people.
Yeah, that is true. We'd have to clean it up, and that would be a pain in the ass.
I agree.
Unless we can somehow find a cliff that's in a scrapyard that overlooks a scrapyard and have them do it, then it would just wind up right where it needs to go.
True.
But I don't think there is.
Hi guys, I'm back. 2-day project for a simple build. I know life gets in the way sometimes. Anyways, I'm sure some of you who have been woodworking a lot longer than I have kind of caught the big issue that we are having, or that I would have today during this project. That big issue would be basically nothing sticks to melamine. Melamine is really hard to get stuff to stick to. So what I had to do when I finally figured that out at 6 o'clock last night, I had to find a special glue. Now, again, not sponsored by anyone, but Tape-On makes a melamine wood glue. This will allow wood to glue to the surface of melamine. So, the idea of the project is, in the back portion of the platform that goes against the back of the seat, we're going to have a 2-inch spacer here because it'll help lift the back up when there's weight pushed down on it. On the front, I got these really fancy hinges and the legs will attach to the hinges like so. So when I'm going to pull this out of the truck, I can pull the legs up, I can tilt it forward on the seats, and slide it right out of the door, never hit anything. I decided because this is particle board and there will be weight on it and it will flex, I would end up putting in this strip right around here-ish. This is just to help prevent the middle of this from sagging or bowing while in use. This was a cutoff from this furring strip, basically, just like that. Cut it right down the middle, well, 2 inches on this side, the remainder on this side, in order to get these pieces. And I just really didn't want to have this go to waste. Spray paint primer, as you saw, just this, the legs, the back piece. I'm not really going crazy on the spray paint primer because I only have 2 cans, and this is really for no one but me. The last 2 bits I'll be doing to this project is this. First one is going to be doing a melamine veneer edging around the edges of this. It'll make it look better, it'll keep the edges lasting longer, going to be less likely to break. Also, on the top surface of this, I'm going to be attaching a rubber pad. So what I've done here is now I'm going to get ready for marking and pre-drilling. I took this piece, which was a cutoff from another project that I knew was going to be long enough. I'm going to use it as a straight edge. I've clamped my 2-inch spacer right here, and then here is the board. I've clamped it all the way down to bring the spacer in line, make sure it's straight. Now what I'll do next is I'm going to draw a line on top with a Sharpie, and then I'm going to mark where I want to drill my holes. Alright, so time to attach the legs, and since I want them to fold, I found these pretty interesting mechanisms. So basically, you pinch on it, fold it down, folds up like so. So, looked online how to install these. Their biggest recommendation was to install it onto the leg first, onto the tabletop second. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. Alright, 2 in there just to see how well this works. Yeah, it's not perfectly straight, but really solid. Maybe we'll do better on the next one. So, went ahead and stood this up using a pair of wood clamps like this, only bigger. Picked them up off of Rockler's webpage when they had them on super duper clearance. Check deal of the day sites, that sort of thing. Probably find a really good deal. I didn't spend a lot on these, but they have been immensely valuable. So, edge banding. Basically, you have banding, glue on the back. What you're supposed to do is use a hot iron. The iron melt the glue down onto this. Now, I took a look at a few things online. One of the things that people were saying is they'll tack one side, they'll make sure it's straight, final pass. Instructions say kind of do the same thing, but they're saying to do the whole iron in one thing, just get it all super hot, come back and roll it down, and then trim the ends, trim the sides. They also say to use some parchment paper underneath, or what they're calling craft paper, underneath it to protect the iron. I think that might be a good idea, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a go. You know, not my iron. I probably shouldn't ruin it. To give myself the best chance of success, I grabbed a wooden dowel to roll onto it to see if I can't get a good seal, a good crush. I also got a nice wooden block as well. So let's see what happens. So I cut this long by good bits on each end. They say usually cut it like a ½ inch longer. I chose to do probably like a 3/4 inch length. Because I just wanted a little extra length for it, just to make sure. So I'm going to not rock this back and forth. I'm try. Oh yeah, we're hot. Alright, that banding looks good. Actually, that's the first time I've ever done that. Found keeping my fingers pinched on either side as I walk down it really seemed to help. So, you can go over one more time, and gonna try the paper this time. Although, the iron looks good. And then we're gonna, forget the paper. We're just gonna push down with some block, make sure it adheres. So we're gonna come all the way out to the edge. There we go. It's not super hot, but it is sticking. I might run it over one more time, but I'll be back once I get all the corners done. That was not nearly as easy as I thought it would be. So first off, high strength, 90, is high strength. Now, it says it's supposed to coat both sides and it's supposed to stick, okay? So I guess it's because I have no clue about formulation. As you can tell, I am wildly all over the place. So spraying it to the rubber causes it to almost adhere to anything within minutes. As you saw, I was fighting with this the whole way. Every single time I put it down, it wanted to come. I just couldn't get it up. So, I mean, it could be the fact that it's 95 in here. I don't know. You can see we got our gaps. Tore it, stretched it. This one, as you guys saw, was a different process. I decided to roll it instead of flip it and try to get it to stick. That seemed to work the best. So it's all stuck down. As you can see, that one turned out pretty damn nice. A lot better than the rest of them. So Yeah, that was not easy. Ooh, look, air bubble. So, yeah. Alright, so lessons learned. Because that was a fun project. I gotta say though, there were definitely some new experiences in there that whew. Yeah. So, lesson one. I do not do well in the heat. It is still like 95 in this garage and it is insane. This project should have only taken me a couple hours, but this took me probably a day's worth of work just because I would get overheated, I had to walk in, had to cool down, get some more water. Yeah, it sucked. Thing number two that I learned. So, melamine trim, iron-on trim, is actually really easy. You can get better results when you buy a better product. I bought the cheapest thing on Amazon. Would not recommend that. I mean, it turned out alright, but I still wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend going to find a better quality. That's what I would recommend. On the top of melamine, number three, nothing seems to stick to it when you want it to, and when you don't want it to stick to melamine, it does. Had to go get that special melamine glue. That was not expensive, it just took 45 minutes because it's way out of the way. Speaking of glue, that 3M 90 Super Bond, holy dang! That was insane. Now again, I don't know if it's because it's being sprayed onto the rubber, which is causing it to catalyze quicker or what have you. All I know is if you're going to be doing a project like this, you're going to be doing rubber on the top of it, I highly, highly, highly recommend roll your rubber up, 6-inch worth of spray, put it down, hold it in place, let it set for a minute or so, another 6 inches, roll it, keep it all lined up. You're going to do a much better job than what I did. Last thing I learned from this project is, you know, if you think it's silly and nobody makes it, it's not because it's silly. It's not because it's a useless thing. I mean, the pub is going to get so much better use out of that. Plus, it's now another flat surface that I can put in the back of my truck. So when I go out overlanding without him, I could put an ice chest on it. I could put my drone on it, and it won't move about. It's a good, solid idea. So I think my takeaway from this project is you can do what you want to do. There are easy ways to do these things. There's hard ways to do these things. You find what works best for you. And just keep at it. I mean, you saw me fighting without rubber, pulling it up, stuck to my hands. But hey, just keep on going at it, and eventually it's going to come out to something that you find acceptable. If I don't like that, I got a couple putty knives behind me. I'll go through and I'll scrape off all the plastic. I'll give it a good sand down. I'll scrape off all of the rubberized coating, sand it down, and try again. I mean, that stuff was only, I want to say it was like $12 a roll. It wasn't hugely expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to be doing it 3 or 4 times, but overall, for a first-time learning experience, it's not that bad. I guess really the takeaway is go out and do it. Do your best. And you know what? The worst that's going to happen is you're going to learn something and you're going to do it better the next time. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Hope you learned something. You don't think I'd be a monster and not show you what it looked like in the back of the truck. So that's what it looks like. Nice flat platform. Takes up all that space so the pup can't fall through. Let's make sure the door closes. Door closes. Didn't sound like it hit. Doesn't look like it hit. Alright. Let's put the sling in and take the pup out to see how he likes it. What do you think?